This is Jonathan Agger, Fit for Pro Boxing fans. We're here in London. We've just had the launch event for the WBC Opus. I'm joined by Mauricio Sulaiman, President of the WBC. Mauricio, we've had a great event here today. Just tell us a bit about the WBC Opus, talking about the greatest fights in WBC history.
Well, I'm so happy, so proud to be able to officially launch and present the WBC Greatest Fights Opus, which is without a doubt the greatest book in the history of boxing. It has a selection of the top 100 fights, and then it goes down to the 12 greatest fights. And it was a highly complicated process, but we had so many great champions participate: Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, Duran, Chavez, of course Tyson Fury, Vitaly Klitschko. So this is the work of a great group put together over a 2-year period, and the end result is marvelous. It's just fascinating.
If you had to pick a couple of your favourite ones, I know it's a difficult one, but if you had to pick one or two that stand long in the memory for you, what would it be?
Well, the fights that I attended, of course, I would say the La Hoya Cuarte, Fury, Wilder, tremendous, Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran. Of course, the ones that I have seen on television: Ali Foreman, Ali Frazier, Hagler Hearns, Duran against Hearns, Sugar Ray against Hearns, Duran, Hagler. So many great fights. Eubank, Ben against McClellan. So many great fights. It's a very difficult but very gratifying process, and I'm sure the fans will really enjoy this book as you go through the pictures, through the stories, through the data, the quotes. It's a very well put book.
We saw Vitaly Klitschko on the screen. I believe some of the raising funds for the Ukraine, and through the book. Just talk us through that a bit.
We decided to create one edition, just one book, one piece. The cover is made out of crystals, and the bookcase is the flag of Ukraine. This will be auctioned on Bonhams, and the 100% proceeds will go to the humanitarian efforts for peace with the embassy, with the fund that has been created. And to see Vitaly Klitschko join us live on a Zoom was very emotional. You can see in his face the distress, the 2 months of wearing, of mental crisis, but the soul power, fighting for a cause that we're just all praying that peace comes into this world and everything ends.
For the other books, are they available to purchase for the public?
Yes, there are going to be a variety of levels of books. Even we came out with one paper book which has no pictures, it's only the stories, and 100% of the proceeds go also to Ukraine from that paper book. So there's many ways of giving back to the ones in need right now, and we invite the public to participate because together we're doing this for Ukraine.
Fantastic. Mauricio, you are in London for a major fight this Saturday, Fury against Whyte, 94,000 fans in Wembley Stadium. Why do you believe there's so much interest in this fight?
Because it's a heavyweight championship of the world. The WBC is proud to have Tyson Fury as a champion. He's proud to have Dillian Whyte as an interim champion, mandatory challenger. 2 British fighting in such a venue, Wembley Stadium. We created a special belt, the Union belt, to represent as a special prize, a special trophy, this great fight between 2 British nationals, and it's going to be a tremendous great fight.
Tyson Fury said throughout the build-up that this will be his final fight. Some people don't believe it will be, but if that was to be the case and say he won the fight, would the belt become vacant?
I don't speculate. Let's see what happens. I'm here to watch the fight, to see what happens. After the fight, we will see, and whatever happens, happens. But it's going to be a sensational match. Heavyweights with power, with great boxing skills. It's going to be great for the fans.
Dillian Whyte's waited a long time for his WBC world title shot. Are you pleased for him to get the shot, and what is your relationship with Dillian?
Well, Dillian is my personal friend. I like him very much. I am very proud of the WBC and the support we have given Dillian. He had issues that set back this time for the fight for the title. He had an UCAT situation which lost a lot of months. Then the pandemic came. Then he lost the fight. So the WBC has stood firmly in support of him, and I'm very proud that now he's fighting for the WBC championship.
Mauricio, just whilst I've got you here, a couple of questions on some other fighters. Canelo Alvarez steps up in a few weeks' time to fight Dimitri Bivol at 175. Obviously, he had a mandatory which he took care of in Avni Yildirim last February. Is there another mandatory on the horizon for Canelo Alvarez?
We're doing everything possible to allow fighters like Canelo, who is the unified champion in the super middleweight, to give him all the flexibility and support so he can make the best fights possible for the fans. We did order an interim title, Benavides against Lemieux. That takes care of the activity of the division, but we are being very lenient. We want to have fans enjoy the greatest fights, and the mandatories have to be enforced only when they are the real mandatory case. We have our own rules, and we have the flexibility of being lenient. And we're talking to the organizations to also have that flexibility to allow fighters to go out and give the best fights to the public.
Josh Taylor obviously holds all the belts at 140 pounds. Jose Zepeda is the #1 contender. When is that likely to be due?
Well, we've been waiting for Taylor. He said he was moving up in weight. We have contacted him to confirm if he's going to remain, and Zepeda is a mandatory and is the next in line. So we will see what happens at this time.
And finally, from a British perspective, Callum Smith is the #1 contender to Artur Beterbiev. I know Artur Beterbiev is about to fight Joe Smith. How likely is it that Callum Smith is called in the near future?
Callum Smith is #1 contender. He's not the mandatory yet. We would have to have either a final elimination or a voting process. But Callum Smith is a tremendous fighter, and I'm sure he will be successful in 175.
All right, well, Mauricio, I appreciate talking to pro boxing fans, and we'll look forward to the rest of the week, Fury against Whyte.
Thank you so very much. All the best.